biggest problem you've got, big man, is you're well known. So people are gonna want to hear you shout them on this interview.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna ask you now, once and through, what names are you gonna give us that you want to make sure they know you know they're about?
All right. First and foremost, I'll give a shout out to Chigs. Been by my side from the beginning. Like one of my first students in FLEXMAN. I was at FLEXMAN already, but one of my first sort of serious ones that come and listen to what I said. Dillian's after that. Then I've got the Ovido brothers, Roland and Rufus. Rory Painter. Another good guy, been with me from E7, so big shout out to him. Laura, that works at the Ritzy in Brixton, one of the managers at Ritzy in Brixton. She doesn't fight or nothing, but like she's been with me, she's there most mornings when I used to train at FLEXMAN and everything. Big shout out to her. Misha Laboro, big shout out to her in China. All the Dutch gyms that know me, big shout out to them because, man, I went to Holland and I learned so much from traveling around the gyms out there. Yeah, and all the other people around the world that know me, big shout out. Yeah, this is my journey and all of you's been part of my journey and to where I am today. Thanks.
Out there in the roads, young kids are dying, day in, day out, guns and knives. There's people that have lived that life that will tell you they're out here to show the kids a better way. It's all a myth, don't believe it. Then there's those that ain't talking, they're just doing, day in, day out, morning, afternoon, night, training the youths, training their mind, training their body, showing them listen, live better, show your family better. You can walk the roads of South London, or you can take a trip to the streets of China. Ask about him, they know his name, Julian, Team Red Dragons. A lot of people know Julian for the Brixton and surrounding area, training them hard, but now you're in Tooting. How is that doing for you? Because obviously a lot of people's like, right, let me just fly down FLEXMAN and do something with Julian. Let's fly down the park.
All right, we come from an area where the money's sort of tight and all of that, so it's, with all these restrictions and everything, it's made me have to recheck myself and everything. So I've sort of looked at it and I'm in demand in certain gyms and that. I've worked in a lot of full-time gyms as a full-time instructor for many years. So now it's an opportunity come up where I can go full-time and still make it financially all right for myself. So I'm on that thing now. It's about me working out what I'm going to be doing in the end, towards the end of my life. Yeah. And then who I hope the people that I've sort of invested my training into sort of carry it on to the next generation or can set up their thing and do it for another group of people. Do you know what I mean? Because it's continuous work, so, you know. Yeah, but I love doing what I'm doing. I wouldn't do anything else. It's the passion in my heart. It's just, yeah, and it goes beyond just kickboxing and all of that. It's just fighting in general. It's a spiritual thing to me. It's not just a physical thing. Yeah.
But have you found everybody keeps it with you now they've got to travel to Tooting, or has it been a bit of a mission?
Right, my fighters, them that are with me, are loyal. So the ones I've got with me, I've sort of trained them differently from ones that I've had before. Loyalty is a big thing to me, and it's, you got to always remember where you come from, even if you might go off and do your career and everything, and then you've got to be honest with yourself. Boy, could I have gone further with the same people I started with? If not, then you move on. If I'm not to your liking, you move on, and that's happened quite a few times with me. Bit disheartening, but then I'll just look to the next generation and try and change it a bit. The ones I've got around me now is, as I said to them, I run my gym like I'm in Holland, and loyalty is a big part in martial arts. Can't just have an instructor and you're going to leave him because you think that you're going to go to another gym and it's better. Yeah, you've got to learn what that instructor is absolutely giving it to you, which takes years. It's not just I'll come and train for 2-3 years and, do you know what I mean? I'm a guy that brings them from scratch. I will build you up from scratch, show you what fighting's about and give you my takes on it. What you do with it after that, that's up to you.
the Artist TV in association with Block 5 Entertainment. We're back out here again. And you know what this is? This is Untold Stories, Footstep 2. Man like Julian, you know what time it is. He's been putting in the work from young, helping people, showing them, listen, get into training and get off the road.
We're on technical sparring today. It's Wednesday. We normally spar on Monday, Wednesday and Saturday. But we're in the middle of adjustment at the moment. So I'm just making them keep sharp and stay on top of their techniques. Look forward, touch the floor. Get in there. Can you get in?
It's dirty out here, up close and personal training. Let them know how you feel about this.
This is what you do, Red Dragon, Muay Thai. Jules, top class coach, world class coach. Full knackered, I can barely speak right now. My neck's feeling mad and that. But yeah, Muay Thai, 8 limbs. Do this.
What's good over there, brother?
Everything's good, my man. Everything's good.
Well, let's get this right back at the beginning. Where did Julian grow?
I've come from, now I'm a resident of Angeltown. Been an Angeltown resident for a number of years. I grew up around there. I started off at Brixton Hill, Leander Road. As a baby, I was born up there. And then I come to Cowley Estate, which I grew up on until I was about 10, 11 years old. And then moved to Angeltown. And then spent all of my sort of teenage years growing up in Angeltown.
Okay, well let's get it straight. Anyone who's heard of Angeltown from the outskirts of Brixton, they know Angeltown to have a lot of unpositivity. You've been a positive figure through all the years. Many a roadmen have come through you and changed their ways. Many a people have understood, listen, hard work and training, you get to live a better life. You're not sitting in a prison cell. So when did you first decide, you know what, I'm not even trying to look to the road, I'm looking to show people there's better out here?
Right, so like most of the youths around there, I got involved in crime and that from a young age, well, youngish age though. But like what most teenagers go through when you're at school age and everything, you discover stuff. Got in a little bit of trouble. What made me really change is the last time I got sort of taken by the police, which was, I was guilty. And my mum came to the police station, and the amount of crying that she done, I said, man, I've got to find myself something to do that's positive. That's not going to make my mum cry and make her come police station for me and all them sort of things. I was sort of ashamed of it and things like that. So I'll see kickboxing from a young age. We used to go to America quite a bit. My mum used to send us away quite a bit over the school holidays. I went to America and I see kickboxing on TV from about the age of 9, 10, and it just stayed with me. And then when I was like about 16, just about to leave school, just turned 16, leave school, I didn't have no thought of doing anything apart from getting a job and getting money. And then I said, I need to find myself something to do that me, myself, I'm interested in. Martial arts has always sort of drawn me. I used to do judo as a young youth and I've done quite well in it. So I went back to martial arts and started looking for something that suited me as a person. Yeah.
Okay, so quickly, a lot of time I do these interviews and people don't express what a woman does for them, what their mother does for them, their sister, their aunt in the life that they live.
Oh, I've got a big family, so all the women in my family, my parents are from Jamaica and everything, and they're kind of very sort of still Jamaican. They've been in England, and it was always told to us that this is just, they came to make a better life and to go back to get a better life. That's how I've always been brought up. So my mum was a nursing sister at King's College and Belgrave Hospital. So we've been in the area. My mum's been nursing for X amount of time. My dad was a chauffeur and a mechanic.
Yeah, so what does it do to a man when both his parents are on a good thing? They're both doing strong and then he's there, done crime, and his mum and dad's telling him, listen, it's wrong.
Well, for starters, it wasn't my mum and dad's decision, it was peer pressure. As in, some of my friends grew up with single parents and everything. So they never had money and everything like that. So because I was just part of the group, you take part in what the group does, and you're influenced by the group that you're with through peer pressure. So that's how it was for me growing up.
Yeah.
And I made some silly decisions, and yeah.
Okay, so tell us, when did you first start doing your training?
Lift your knee up where you want the knee to go, point your knee. Extend, put back, put down. Yeah, all of it. 1, 2. As soon as this lands.
It's a contact sport. As I tell people, you got to get, like, because I've trained in Thailand and things, the neck has to be strong. So when you get into the clinch and everything, we call it, it's about dominating the man and staying on the inside so that you're the sort of winner of the clinch. Yeah. So we're training it, and you got to train it kind of regular so your neck muscles get stronger and you get used to the rough treatment.
More, pull it back fast as well.
You're saying down here, Mitesfield Park, Julian training. What's this do for you?
Well, keeps my mind, body and spirit intact, you know. My man feels stressed and a bit lost. Man comes in here and gets back right on track, you know. Just give me a purpose, you feel me? Give me discipline.
So block, kick, backhand. So he kicks. The reason I started training was because as I was doing one of these stupid things that I was doing, I got beat up in the West End by about 3 different policemen, and the way that they done it, I couldn't sort of defend myself the way that they had me. So my chin got cut open. When my mum see that the state that they had me in the police station and things, she sort of like, if I carry on, I'll die. They'll kill me next time. So I changed my ways and started looking for stuff to occupy my time and things, and I moved on from there. Training, I was going FLEXMAN and doing BMX racing as a youth, so that sort of took my interest, and then it just, like, I stopped doing BMX racing at 16 because it was an Olympic sport then, and then I went into kickboxing, and then I went to kickboxing and found the right group to belong to. The trainer there, Lincoln Boney from the Vipers gym, just was like a guardian angel to me and a bigger brother that walked me through and showed me bare positive stuff.
Yeah. So explain to the people how hard it is to keep the dedication on that when around you there's people.
Right, it's all sacrifice. It's all sacrifices. I had to decide to leave my friends and pursue this, and even if I was broke, I had to hold the brokenness and just, owe the instructor, say I'll pay him when I make some money and things like that. And he believed in me, so it was like the first sort of bigger brother, guardian, angel sort of figure that sort of put their time and effort into me and give me talks on how I was living and my thought processes and things like that, which over time changed. So, you know what I mean, my training, as I started getting into it more and things like that and seeing the dedication you need and the sacrifices you need to make, I started moving to that way more. It was more enriching to me as a person.
So you being a man who has stuck with your purpose and have trained a lot of people, out here somewhere in Angel Town, somewhere in Brixton Hill, there's a young youth and he's got a dedication to something, but it's a long-term thing. There's money on road. Now, you tell them, what's their best steps to keep their head focused?
That's a hard one, because the money that people make now is a lot more substantial for what you're doing than when it was when I was younger. It's easier when I was younger, and there wasn't so much people doing all this road stuff and what they call. And then how they have it now is like, they have it like it's a job. And it's not a job. It's, you do those things to survive and move on. That's it. And then when I grabbed the concept of, boy, even if you're a criminal and you make so much money, you're supposed to move on. You're not supposed to stay in what you're doing and that's your lifestyle and your job. It's done by people then that need to do it so that they can move into legitimate business, aka the mafia.
Okay, so let's get into the fact of your training and your career. How long exactly have you been doing it now?
Feel it. There you go.
How important is it for someone to get in this from as young as possible?
It's like any sport. The quicker, when you have them in it and you sort of mould them for it, they sort of grow. You get their conditioning up and everything when they're young and everything, and then the technical aspects easier for them when they're older. 1, 2 knuckles. That's what you're punching with. Yeah? My guard here. So I'm side on. There. Yeah? I'm on the balls of my feet. So when I punch, I want this. That full body, and then put the weight behind your punch. Yeah?
You know what? I feel great. My body feels great. I feel my head feels great. With this, it de-stresses you out.
Push him and kick.
Push your left. The right, the backhand. Step.
Started was when I was 16 and I'm 52 now. So all them years of traveling the world, fighting, training at different countries, spending time in the countries and everything, it sort of widened my knowledge more than a lot of British fighters that round of my time. So even the world champions was going away a lot. I was so up for fighting, I'd go anywhere and fight anybody. That was my attitude. I just come from Brixton and I come from Angel Town. I fight anyone. That was my attitude when I was younger. So that sort of put me in good stead for kickboxing and Muay Thai.
So for them that don't understand just how rewarding your thing can be, let us know the countries you have travelled to.
All right, starting with the first countries I sort of went to outside of Jamaica and America was Holland and France, Belgium, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, Lithuania, Uzbekistan, all these different places, and I met a load of different men that are sort of from even harder backgrounds than what we have in London and things. So I started like taking little leaves out of certain instructors them I met that had a big influence on me, and the way that they was running their things and all that had a big influence on me. And I thought, this is not quite together in England yet, so I always tried to bring back knowledge with me and pass it on to the people that I was training with, my brother and my peer group. And then it just went from there. I got to an age of where I was retiring from fighting and I was training some 1 and 2 fighters already, and I just thought, well, I think I can make this into a full-time thing. I was training at FLEXMAN and it just grew from there.
Yeah. So before you retired from fighting, tell us some of the achievements that you received.
All right, I am 2 times British full contact champion. I am 3 times Muay Thai champion. Well, at the time it was Thai boxing, so I'm 3 times Thai boxing champion of Britain. I haven't got a European title. I fought for the Commonwealth title, and on my 3rd try I got a world title in Japanese rules kickboxing.
Okay, and when you look back, what does that do for your heart to know that you've got all that under your belt?
That's part of the reason why my gym does well, because of the knowledge. I've got worldly knowledge of my sport, and I kind of know how each country does their thing and what they're strong at. So that played a big part in my career, as in passing it on to my fighters. So yeah.
Let them know about the age limits. Like if there's people out here, young kids, they want them in this training from early. When does it start for you?
I take them from, actually my brother trains the kids and he starts from 5 years up to till they turn like 14, 15, 16, depending what size they are and how their mentality is. Yeah? So we look at all of that. I've got a guy named Rory Painter that's been with me from me 7 years old. So he's now in the adults and one of my top technicians. So you know what I mean? And he's 22 now, he works in the bank. So yeah, he's a product of being with us for all that time.
Let me tell you what I know of Julian. I've known of Julian for a long time round these streets of Brixton.
More or less at the beginning, yeah.
And I know that Julian's got a lot of names under his belt that have come through him to build themselves and gone on to do things. So I'm going to ask you to give us a rundown of the names that have come through you at the beginning.
All right, my team started off, my personal team. I come from a team, so I've got to put this in. My team that I come from used to train at Ferndale Sports Centre, 3 or 4 times a week. I'm from the Vipers originally, where there was about 10, 15 of us that was seriously dedicated. We had a good guardian angel instructor, whatever you want to call him. Yeah, my sensei, coach, whatever. So I look at him as all of those things there. So I come from a good team that had a very good trainer that instilled good values in us. So that's them things changed me. And then it came to, he made me question myself and ask myself some questions about me and about what's inside of me. What am I made of? You know, what makes these people different from asking just questions like that. What makes them different? What made them get there than why I can't get there? So I started breaking it down, and it was the same thing that people do to get to where they're at. We can do the same thing, no problem. So that made me buckle down and concentrate. And then my instructor always said to me, you come from an area where it was, the riots was on and everything like that. So you've got to be a kind of, yeah, take the role of me. You're the next generation coming through. So you've got to kind of bring the next lot through and the next lot as long as you can and instill this into a generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all them next lots that you have brought through, give us the names of some of them.
Right. Well, Dillian being the most famous out of all of them. Jimmy Manoa, I've had things to do with him for before he got into the UFC. I sort of changed his style a bit because he was doing Muay Thai and everything like that, but what they was doing was basic Thailand Muay Thai. So I'll give him a different take on Muay Thai to go into the cage fighting and things. Yeah. So Austin Gardner from Jiu-Jitsu, black belt Jiu-Jitsu, Stockwell Estate. When he first started doing his cage fighting, I had a lot to do with him. He was a bit, what caught him out was age, but good fighter, good heart, very good guy. Love him to bits. Yeah. There's another guy named Charlie Francis from over West London. His Ninja, his ring name is. I had a lot to do with him. He's a big fighter at London Shoot now for the cage fighting. The Abido, Roland and Rufus Abido. My first sort of heavyweight, my light heavyweight and super middleweight British champions at Muay Thai, and they won a few 4- and 8-man competitions around Britain. Chigs.
Big up Chigs.
Chigs is Dillian's main sparring partner for me in kickboxing and was always had Dillian's back. Yeah, so that's another guy that I sort of got close to my heart. Yeah, and he's a guy, he's out there doing his thing now, and yeah, got a lot of time and respect for him.
Okay, well let's understand the people that don't know what's what. Check out the names the man's just talked, because they've all gone places with what he's taught them and what he's gone through with them. Let's get into what the people want to know now. Obviously you're Brixton, I'm Brixton. The man you just mentioned, Dillian Whyte, he's talking about the boxer. He was Brixton based. So people in Brixton is what we do these interviews for, and the immediate area, to know what's really good in an area where people will see positiveness, where there's a lot of positivity. So I'm going to say now, people want the story of you and Dillian Whyte. What we know from the outside is that Dillian came to you as a young man from the road. You built his confidence, you built his strength with him, and you showed him a better way to go. What do you say to that?
It's all true. Dillian, very capable guy from I see him. Very big for his age at the time and could lift some massive weights. So I thought, one of my friends, Eamon West, brought him to me because he was his like youth offending team worker. So he brought him to me. Well, he asked Dillian if he liked to fight, and then he said his friend does a lot of fighting. He brought him to me, and from the first day I see him, I said he looks useful, I need to see him. And then the next day he came training. So I was kind of impressed that he said he's coming tomorrow and came, and he never left my side since.
In your eyes and in your heart, do you believe in any way that Dillian Whyte owes you anything?
All right, I mean, this is a big question around people around me, and this is my answer. He doesn't owe me anything, as in financially he's obligated or anything like that, but when you come from an area and you've done well, I believe that you should help the next generation through, as I said in the earlier interviews and things like that. And all right, he's got his boxing gym and everything, but it's not down here. It's over West London. It's, you got to kind of look back and who you come up with. The same people you see when you go up are the same people you see when you're coming down. So, like when he had the band and everything, you see who his friends was and everything like that. He was still around me. He was boxing and pro boxing and thing, but he's still doing his training because of the vibe. I told him all of this before he went into boxing. There's a vibe. You have to create your own sort of vibe, and he sort of lost that. But with regards to owing me anything, not really. Just, I'd like him to just do something for the community, as in, I've got a whole lot of young fighters, so I'd like him to at least financially help them a little bit, throw a little something their way so that they don't struggle like how he had to.
So let's ask you about his career now. What do you see to his career, like the steps he's took and where he's at?
He always had the talent for fighting. Let's not get it twisted. He's had cage fights, he's had boxing fights, he's had K1 fights to a high level and Muay Thai with elbows and everything. So he's fought to a high level and understands fighting more than a lot of people. And from you've been doing it from a young age, yeah, it's sort of, it's just learning, picking up stuff, learning and putting it, implementing it into what you do. Yeah. Until you come with a product that is so good, it's at world level now. Yeah. You know what I mean? How do I see him as in some of the moves he's made? I'm a person, I'm come from down there, and talking doesn't get you far. Yeah. I don't like the disrespecting of another person. Yeah. I think that if actions speak louder than words, that's my talk on that. And you can do less talking and more proving. If you do the action, people respect you more, I think. Yeah. So on these talking aspects, I don't like all of it. On these, some of the stuff that he says I don't agree with. Like, I can't tell a group of my family that has got younger family members to watch him on TV because it's not a role model and things like that. And then when I was training him, I was trying to bring him as a role model for the area for other kids to look up to, and then they follow suit or whatever they want to do in their dreams and things like that. He was supposed to be a role model for the area. That's what I was moulding him as and everything like that. It was going really well. And then boxing, as we know, it's got a lot of corrupt characters in it. Yeah. But it's got more money in it and you can make a living from it. So he had a choice to make. It was either he got offered a 3 to 5 year K1 contract in Japan, so we'd have been signed with the K1 in Japan, and he sparred with David Hay and gave him such a hard time and must have split his lip or something that they was telling him to get into boxing. Yeah. So one day he came to see me and my brother and we had a big talk. So we laid it out in front of him because we understand these things. So the choice was if you stick with kickboxing and go through, or you go to boxing. Yeah. And my advice and my brother's advice was to go to boxing because it's got more money in it and it's more lucrative. Yeah. That was the only reason.
So you being honest with us now on this, you being a man who's more kickboxing than boxing, as the years have gone by, do you feel that was the right decision for you to make on the fact of your and his closeness?
I've got, as I said to him, I've got bigger control in the kickboxing world than a lot of other gyms like that are similar to us. Yeah, I've got a big say. I understand the sport more than a lot of people. Boxing's something you get into because it's you can make mega money from it. Yeah. And he's a heavyweight, and even in kickboxing as a heavyweight in anything, you're making big mega dough. Yeah, and it's down to you can be at the beginning of something and excel and be like a big figurehead in that sport. In boxing, you're just going to be, if you don't make it to that world title and that, you're not going to really make money that you should be making. You know what I mean? You need that. You need accolades behind you, titles, and people come to you and things like that. Dillian decided to do it the hard way, so you know.
Do you feel in any way that Dillian Whyte has disrespected you or anybody who was there when he was coming up?
When you have to get people to train and you get people that are by your side, making sure that you eat, making sure you got your first trainers, making sure you get to the shows and everything. Them things all cost. And the people them that I see in the beginning are not the same people I see you sort of looking to or doing anything for. You know what I mean? That's my talk on it. I don't need to mention no names, but there's a few man that was around that helped Dillian sort of understand fighting and things like that. And then when it was financially hard, you know what I mean? He didn't tell me all of this, but sometimes I found out that he found it financially hard. These people was looking after you, making sure that you eat, making sure you got your trainers, making sure you got your supplements and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? So to me, you don't recognise that in your career, sort of thing. And boy, I don't know if you're going to come back later on and deal with things, but yeah, for now, I know a lot of people's upset about that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? You can't just come and take certain stuff and get knowledge and everything, and you just go on to anywhere and just give it to anyone. You know what I mean? It becomes cheap then.
I'll ask you, if Dillian Whyte decided to take you into the boxing side of things when he started that, are you adaptable to that? Like, can you be in the boxing side of things?
Well, boxing, I'm not, because of some of the unsavoury characters in boxing, I sort of stayed away from it till it was at a point we used to have a boxing trainer. I used to train with Cham Joff, Mark Prince from Tottenham, and a guy named Charlie Carew, which is Adrian Dodson's stepdad. Yeah, so we used to all train and do certain things together. And I learned a lot from them guys there. So boxing wasn't a problem to me because that's what we sort of applied to how we do our thing. It's boxing based. Yeah. So boxing's not a problem to me. And I've done 15 months in China not too long back, and it was boxing I was working on with a guy that's Southeast Asian boxing champion and for the WBA and WBO. Yeah. So I've got my experience in boxing. I haven't got a license, which I'm going for now, so I can move into boxing.
Anthony Joshua, he went back to the trainer who first put him on the road, and he done a little thing where he, like, obviously them things there are good if your heart's in it, you get me? He gave him a BMW, and he told him, listen, this is the beginning.
And he kitted that.
Exactly, yeah. So all them things there, like when you see someone doing that, like the amount of people you've trained and made get a better life through what you've given in their head and their heart. What do you feel when you see things like someone like Anthony Joshua giving back?
My opinion on Anthony Joshua is a proper role model. Yeah, if you want to go that way and you want to act that way, very good businessman.
Yeah.
People think they know him, but they don't really know him. And what he does in his background, he keeps it kind of private. So, yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Anthony Joshua. He's, role model of a guy. I can tell people to watch him and you can learn a lot off of that guy. Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever you want to say about him in the background and them things, that's your own personal opinion, but he's getting stuff done. He's looking after his friends, he's looking after his old boxing trainer, he's looking after who he needs to look after. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's sort of highlighted stuff that a lot of fighters are afraid to step to. Yeah. And no, that's their real identity.
And you do see a lot of him going back to places where he's from and showing and giving it something.
Giving them all of that sort of stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean?
What does that do to your heart when you see someone doing that and appreciating what they come from?
Them things is what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, as somebody that was less fortunate yourself and you've gone up the ranks and everything and you've made a bit of money and everything, look after the people that sort of helped you to get there. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And he's gone back and remembered that these are the people that's helped him to get to where he's got to, so he's given them a little something to show his appreciation for that. Yeah. Because it's not easy, believe me, it's a lot of sacrifice.
I remember you telling me about the man who brought you into it, the man who showed you to start doing your thing. So I'll ask you, what's your connection like with him? What do you do with him?
When I came back from China, we had a reunion for him. It was called the Vipers team, Vipers kickboxing gym and Muay Thai. So I went to the reunion and there was like about 30, 40, 50 people there up at Balham, and then we had a good time and everything. I've still got on with my instructor, like I'd never leave my instructor out of anything. Lincoln Boney's his name. Yeah. Yeah, very shrewd guy that taught me a lot about how to conduct myself out there, and when I'm getting into this business, I've got to look at things different and not just from a road perspective. There's a certain way you've got to act in that. Even though you are a thug still, just you know what I mean? Put in the groundwork to see that there's gates that open for you when you act a certain way.
Yeah. So with regards you yourself, I'll ask you the one question dead to you. Is your loyalty intact with anybody you've seen come up the ranks with you or showed you anything?
Everything's intact. I still reach back to my old teammates, and I can go to a different country and go and pick up and do my training and that. I was in China for nearly 18 months, so you know what I mean? And that was one of my friends that set that up. I wasn't having an easy time and I needed a change of scenery and everything. So I went to China for 18 months and it really taught me a lot. Taught me a lot. So give thanks. And her name's Misha Laboro, another one, under-recognised champion from Peckham area. My mate at the time was going through some rough stuff. So, you know, I'm loyal to her and she's loyal to me. And it's not just about loyalty, it's what we've been through from kids up to big people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's, if we can come from the bottom and sort of get to where we are now, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah. And there's not just her, all my teammates, everybody that I've ever trained, whether it be for fighting or not for fighting, like, yeah man, I've got certain people that's never left my side and everything like that. And yeah, my heart goes out to them 100%. My heart still goes out to Dillian because of the time we spent together and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? And what we've been through a lot. Travelled most of Europe together. So I can't just throw them things aside and everything. What I think personally, I try to hold it to myself. When I see him to his face, I'm more likely to tell him. Yeah. Because that's between me and him and nobody else.
Yeah. So one of the things that people say is since Dillian become a boxer and he's travelled into that world and met who he's met, done what he's done, you and him ain't got the closeness no more.
No, because, all right, for starters, when you get into certain sports and it's big money and all of that, you've got all of these management companies and everything like that, that they're set up so that you can go through an easier life. So your training gear, your supplements, even your clothing and things, that sponsorships come from promoting stuff and everything. You're a product, so you work with other products to promote other stuff. So that was the basis on that. Man, I'm just a bit wary of the boxing world, because not just that, it's been, my brother got offered a pro contract and he decided to go to social work because it was an easy way of getting money for us.
Yeah.
So it always, I used to wonder why my brother done that, and then when he explains it to me, I kind of, yeah, it kept me away from the boxing world and things like that, and I was always better with my legs and everything like that. So yeah, I didn't get into boxing, but now at an older age, I'm starting to see that it's coming to me more, and then people that I've trained, a few of them have gone into boxing and done really well. So yeah, you know.
Okay, so let me ask you, when did you and Dillian Whyte last see each other?
I see Dillian about 5-6 months ago, the last time.
And how was things between you both?
I don't think he knows how to approach me again. Yeah. I'm a straightforward guy, but if you don't know how to approach me, you're a bit, and that goes for a lot of people out there. They don't know how to approach me. I'm a bit direct, and then I'll tell you really what I think. Your money doesn't mean anything to me. I'll tell you really what I think of you. The last conversation I had with Dillian was, you need to do something for the area that you come from, for the next generation of youths that are coming through that might want to do the same stuff as that you done, or go through the similar channels that you went through, rather. Yeah.
Okay, well, like you said, you're not here to talk on the next man too tough. Yeah. I'm gonna finish this on Dillian Whyte with this question. A lot of people see Dillian Whyte interviews. It seems like he's got one up there every week. People are saying that nobody knows how to interview Dillian Whyte. They don't seem to have no questions that we want the answers through, from the place where Dillian comes from. Because it's not about someone in America, in Australia, it's about where you was born and bred, or bred should I say, with Dillian Whyte. So we've got questions for him. He don't seem to be getting asked them questions. So I'll ask you, do you believe that there's questions Dillian Whyte needs to answer that no one's asking him?
Yeah, there's a lot of questions. Is why are you bringing all these people them you're bringing that's done nothing for your career? A few men around you, I'm not going to call no names, they've done stuff for you and got you to where they got you to. Another thing is, you've got time on your hands, so go and educate. Go and educate yourself to a higher level. Not to say you're not educated, but to a higher level. Yeah? I told you that you're going to come in front of cameras one day, your mannerisms and everything. We tried to train him up on all this stuff before he got into boxing, because he was on TV in Europe and things like that. So can't just talk like a thug. So we tried to tell him, you can be a thug, but you don't have to talk like it. You give people them a totally different side to yourself. Not just fighting, there's more to you than just fighting.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, let's get on to the here and now. We're going through a hard time in the world right now. They got this COVID-19 running around. People are believing everything they hear, some ain't. But this is what it is. You're a man who's continuously trained people throughout the years. What's it doing to you? How are things for you right now?
Right, I'll be dead honest now. So, in the beginning of COVID, which was March, and then when the lockdown came and everything, I was a bit worried in myself. Like deep down, I was worried about that, like what was going on, because I was still based at FLEXMAN and everything. So I was worried about the restrictions and things like that. But as one of my actual fighters came to me and said, just set up in the park and we'll go to the park, just grab some equipment. And as the months have gone on, it's got busier and busier and busier. And because I've got more space, more people's come. So it's sort of, it's exposed me in such a way that, boy, people's coming to me more now because more people see what I'm doing. So it's a good thing. For me personally, it's been a good thing. And then the lockdowns made people look at their health and them sort of things there a lot more, and they've got a lot more time on their hands. So, boy, I see, since this thing started, I see a lot more people investing into their health and time in their self and their family and their houses and this, doing much more personal stuff which they never had time to do to begin with.
For anyone out there who's using this COVID-19 to be lazy, what are you saying to them?
You've got time to look into your life and fix the things that you think are wrong, or you've been depressed about that you can't do because you've got to go to work or anything. Take time for yourself and look into yourself and that. If you don't pick up no new skills over this year, it's a waste, isn't it? You've got to do something where you pick up some sort of new skill, or you get fitter than you was before. I'm blocked. If he goes the opposite way, my backhand, you go where you're going to go. There, you see how tight his hands are? Better. Sit down. Head centre. Turn your shoulder. Turn your shoulder. So you're flat all the time. So when I throw the first one, I want to pull back this shoulder. Boom. I want the ball of my foot, sweeping my heel out. Drive my body weight forward.
You saying session done, big man?
Yeah, the session's finished. We've done hour and a half. We're just on hour and a half sessions until the fight sees that this COVID restriction things lifts up, and then we'll be back fully training for 2 hours in the morning and 2 hours in the evening.
Yeah, how's it feel to you when you see everyone's had a good one, everyone's sweating, everyone's tired, you know?
That's what it's supposed to be, and then now they can go and eat and rest, you know what I mean, and then get on with the course of their day. We normally do it earlier, it's normally 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock, and then we do 7 till 9 in the evening. So, like with this restriction and that, they've had a lot more time to look into their training and things like that, you know what I mean, really question themselves and get certain stuff that they've been doing wrong for so long, they can start looking into it a bit deeper.
You yourself being a voice of the community, let's be real, a lot of people respect your words. I'm going to ask you, what do you think of the COVID-19? What is your actual opinion on this?
A lot of confusion, a lot of different information, a lot of confusion. Wear a mask, don't wear a mask, because the mask damages you because you're breathing in your own air and things and going back into your body, your CO2 or whatever it is. Yeah, so a lot of confusion, and the government needs to address it in such a way that it's plain English to everybody. This is what we must do. if we're going for a second lockdown, well, we know the country's they're going into recession, definitely. And man, I don't know. I'm myth like everybody else, but I know what I think deep down personally. It's a lot of hypocrites out there talking one thing and doing a total opposite. Yeah, even some of the leaders, them's parents and things like that. You know, you want the leader of the country to make a speech and everything, but you're not. Your parents ain't living by that. Your family's not living by that. The police is not living by that. So that makes people question everything.
Yeah. Okay, let's get on to another big thing that's getting to a peak at the moment. Obviously, you're a black man. You've seen a lot. You're into your 50s. You've been through the riots. You've been through a lot of things. You've seen things happen to you and people around you.
Yeah.
What's your honest opinion of the Black Lives Matters movement?
I don't know too much about it. What I can say, Black Lives Matters, but not in the sense of how they're promoting it, the actual group themselves. That's my talk anyway. Yeah? But I'm not just on Black Life, everyone's life matters.
Okay, so let's get on to the world now. What do you see out here? Like, what do you think the future is for all of us?
Since this COVID thing started, there's a lot of racism going on and everything like that, and people showing their true colours on how they really feel. They're not holding back their talk and everything like that, which is it's an eye-opener for me. Even some of my own personal friends I went to school with and things like that, I've had to sort of look at them differently because of the view that they've taken, or they've not stood by and support what we're saying. Do you know what I mean? And another thing is it's everybody's into black culture and black music and this and that, but when it comes to speaking up against the atrocities against us, there's only us speaking. Other people don't seem to understand. You've got your own take on it. Boy, I've got enough white friends. White lives matters, black lives matters, red lives, all people's lives matters. But at the end of the day, it's us that's really at the forefront of getting killed and everything at the moment. So it speaks for itself, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? I could be in America on a holiday. I could get killed out there just like that. It's simple as that. I go to certain countries, they're a bit funny with me because of my colour. I've had to grow with them things and just sort of ignore it and get on with what I'm doing. I know what I've gone there for to do, so I keep that in my mind that these people are not putting my food on my table. I'm going to go and do what I need to do to get through. So all racism and that, I don't really pay it much mind and things like that. If that's you, how you are, that's your problem. You deal with it. You know what I mean? We're all humans, then that's it. That's how I see life and things like that. Everybody, you've got good and bad in every race. That's me.
Well, let's talk about the fact right now we're sitting in the heart of Angel Town, Brixton. Tell the people this area, what does this area mean to you? What is this area? A lot of people will think bad.
All right.
You tell us.
It's a area where we're just a bit down the road from Brixton, main Brixton, and it's always been an area that stood up for itself, like Stockwell, not Brixton Hill a little bit, Toesill, all these areas them stick up for themselves. And then where you've got estates, you've got congregations of youths that gather together. They've grown up, their parents have been through the same sort of things, so you've got a lot to identify with another person that looks like you and has been like you. So these is how the peer groups are formed. And then it moves from there. If one of the peer groups into crime and he's making money, I ain't making no money, I'm due to follow him and yeah, follow that suit. And Angel Town itself was known as a drugs area. Enough when the Yardies come, enough Jamaicans was around there doing their thing. They had family in the flat, so it was a big Jamaican community when I first moved around there, and it's still sort of, we're still here, but we've grown up a bit and seen how the area sort of changed and that. They've knocked down the first set of flats that was there because the area was crime-ridden at the time. But it's just how life is. If you give us an opportunity, you know what I mean? I don't think half these things would have happened. It's about opportunity and building up for the next generation to come through, as I said in the beginning. And then a lot of the leaders then from the riots and things never done that. So all throwing money into the area, and that you've got to make sure it's allocated to the right people so the right stuff is done for the next youths that are coming through or the youths that are on the streets at that time. That's how I see Angel Town. It's gone a bit quiet around there because they've moved off a lot of people, but there's still people that are cut out of the area that will come down there just to say that they're connected to this Angel Town estate. So we've got outsiders that come and say they're from Angel Town. Yeah, they're going on with badness on the road, they say they're from Angel Town. This time no one don't know them. So it's like it's become a notorious area with crime, being a thug, being all of this stuff. You know what I mean? Because of,
So what would you say to anyone who wants to witness what Angel Town's about, but they're a bit skeptical if they might be in a madness?
It's the day of it being dangerous has sort of died down a lot. A lot of the characters that used to come about, they're not around no more. So, yeah. When the area's under a certain pressure, that's when it made a name for itself as being a tough drugs area. Yeah? So, that's the reputation of Angel Town. Over the years, the next generations that have come through might have been grown up by people that have been involved in the riots. A friend of mine, his mother was shot. That was one of the catalysts to the riots and that. Yeah, so all of these things sort of stay in your mind as you're growing up. And when I'm growing up, my youngers now, even the people I train, that I try to tell them, instill these things into them. This is what happened, and this is what it caused. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's a knock-on effect all the time, and if they don't do, the government don't do something to help these youths, the same thing will keep going on. So it's like it's a repeating record, but just different generations is going through it. With music and things now, it's give them a bit of an outlet, but not everybody can do music, not everybody can do sport. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to look at other avenues to put these kids into, and that's it, they're the future. It's not about us again, we're big people, it's about the future and how we develop the kids in the future and the kids of now. Yeah.
So you yourself, what would your biggest message to be to a youth out here? There's youths out here that are running around with guns and knives. They're not going to see their 50s. They're not going to have a career against them if they don't stop.
My talk is to enough of them is, enough of you is connected, whether you like to admit it or not. Yeah, it's easy to stab someone that looks like you, but boy, make me send certain man to your house and all that. Are you going to defend your family and your house like how you defend it against other males on the road that look like you? That's my biggest talk. And if you've got a dream, it's your job to follow it. Can't let people deter you and make you go this way. You will make mistakes in your life. You learn by your mistakes. People not making mistakes don't learn anything. You make a mistake or you get it wrong, you go back and try and source out the problem and move forward all the time. Keep trying to move forward and educate yourself. Not just about going to school and college. Travel. Some of you've got big money. Travel. Go and educate yourself about the world, and you really see what's going on instead of just sitting down in a little thing like this, thinking that this is the world.
So I'm going to ask you yourself, like I say, I know your positivity is real. But there's others out here in these blocks and estates that are positive like you. Yeah. None of you are getting the shine you deserve.
I don't do it for the shine. I got a job. I'm like this. I've always been like this. I would like to be well off, but I don't need the fame with it. Yeah. That's the difference between me and a lot of people. I don't need my name to be out there. I don't like to I like to go about my daily business. A lot of people know what I do. I still go about my daily business. I'm still part of this community first and foremost. Yeah, my job is just what I do to try and relieve the stress on the area, which I've been doing for a number of years, and give you a different take. If I can get you out the country, if you're willing to work hard and I can take you out the country and show you something different, then it's that. And that's what my main job is, to show you that there's other different things out there, not just about here.
Yeah. As much as the man's told you he ain't looking no shine, he does need to be known. He's out here doing the right thing.
I want my team to be known more than anybody, my fighters to be known more than anybody. From they're known and my team is known, that's it, I'm happy. Yeah, and my thing is to leave a legacy. Even when I'm dead, my team Red Dragon's still going on. The next generation have come through and they're the instructors now and bringing it to another level, making it more advanced, yeah? Make it evolve rather, yeah? This is what's happened to this area. Angel Time's evolved, BRIXTON's evolved. We've got to move with the times and evolve with it. Yeah.
So I'll ask you, is there anything that you feel that people need to know that I haven't put over to you in this interview?
Man, if you start out together and you've got a dream with somebody, you're not going to be on the same page. Stick to that dream with that person. Don't be gassing people up and telling them, boy, when you make it, you're going to do this and that. Because that's what we see with footballers. That's what we see with most people, famous people that come. They take it out of the area and then you start buying into the rich thing, which they don't need. Yeah? If you used to invest in the area that you come from, there's talent galore to do everything. Whatever field you think that a man can fit, there's a man that can, as long as we get the training and everything, there's people around there that can do it. And that's it. And we've got to set up stuff for the future. That's it. Else it's all gonna mean nothing.
Okay, so let's get on to the fact of what do you want for your future now? You've been through it, you've seen it. What do you want for the future?
Right, I'm in the process of I'm setting up a full-time gym now through my backers and everything like that. So they bought me a building and everything, which I always wanted, and a place of excellence. Not just about fighting and all of that, but you can come and train and really get to know yourself. Look inwards instead of just outwards.
And one of the most important parts of this interview, let us know where. If we want to train with Julian, if we want to see what Julian's about right now, where are we coming to see you?
Right now, I'm in the process of, I used to be at FLEXMAN, but I won't be in Brixton area no more. But if you want to come and get some more info, training, or anything like that, just come and see me at 2 in Gym, which is at Charlemont Road, 2 in at York's Gym, bodybuilder place.
What's social media saying? You got socials?
I've got social media, teamreddragons.com. We're on Instagram, we're on WhatsApp, and we're on Facebook. So you can contact me through any of them social platforms there.
Big up, Julian. When I tell you this is one of the real ones, I mean it. Footstep 2 of the Untold stories. Big up to all the young youths out there that are dreaming their dream and not following no one else. And big up all the real ones. Soon back. 1.